I want to write a book, but I don't know where to start. If you've ever said this to yourself, inwardly or out your mouth, guess what? This video is for you. In this video, I'm going to be sharing the exact steps to take that are so easy for getting words up on the page so that you can confidently start writing your book. You're going to be so excited. You're going to be like, yes! So in this video, I am going to be covering number one, what is a brain dump? Number two, why you should create a brain dump to start writing your book. And number three, I'll be sharing tips for creating an effective brain dump that can transform into your first draft. I'm Denise Renee, a business book writing coach and manuscript editor. I can help you write a book that shares your experience or expertise and grows your personal or business brand. This video is one piece of that puzzle, so let's jump in. Now, of course, I encourage you to watch the entire video for the full context, but I have timestamps below to help you navigate to the part you're most interested in. Now, in full transparency, I am recording this video right after I recorded video number one in this series. You'll still hear me be a little bit nasally, and I might need to take a sip of water, child, from time to time because of this pollen season has come to Atlanta. But anyway. This is the second video in my Book Writer's Toolkit series. It's all about breaking down my 4 steps to start writing your book process into bite-sized practical pieces and really helping you get your writing started. Now, if you don't know what my 4 steps to start writing your book is, well, allow me to reintroduce myself. Real quick, don't just watch this video about writing a book. You're working on yours today. Head over to writingwithdeniserenee.com/4 steps and download my free guide, 4 steps to start writing your book. In it, you're going to find practical tips and exercises that'll get you moving right now and keep you going until you finish your first draft. That's writingwithdeniserenee.com/4 steps. Okay, let's get back into this video. So make sure you go ahead and download that. The link is in the description box. What's also in the description box is the link to the first video in this series where I completely demolished your excuses for not having enough time to write your book. So make sure you check that video out. So whereas that video helps you get your mindset and get your framework ready, this video is going to actually get you ready to do some writing. And if you've hung around my content for any amount of time, you will hear me talk about doing a brain dump, okay? I love them. I think that they're excellent. And let me tell you why. Well, first, let's tell you what exactly is a brain dump. Well, a brain dump is exactly what it sounds like. You're going to take the contents of your brain and dump them out onto paper or onto your digital device of your choice. Now, there is definitely beauty and a use case for doing your brain dump by hand into a good old-fashioned journal or notebook because there is something about that brain to pen to paper connection. I know that when I tend to write things down, I have a tendency to remember them better than if I just put something in digital format and I really honestly, I forget it because I'm like, oh, I can look that up in less than 10 seconds and have what I'm looking for at my fingertips. So there is a beauty in doing that. However, excuse me as I scratch my nose, child. However, you are going to want to get that handwritten brain dump in digital format stat, okay? You do not want to write your entire first draft by hand because the more you work by hand is going to be frustrating later to then have to type that in, get it transcribed, or do whatever you have to do to get that in a digital format so that you can get ready to have the book edited by a professional editor and formatted into a print-ready document or an ebook format. No editor is going to work with your handwritten manuscript. I cannot tell you how many people have actually talked to me about editing. They're like, yeah, so I hand wrote everything. And I was like, yeah, okay, so call me back when that's been typed up. How many callbacks do you think I got? Child, let me get back to these notes. Anyway, yeah, I don't want that for you, okay? So if you could start your brain dump digitally, perfect. But if you want to start it with by hand, but then get it in the digital format, that is definitely highly recommended because it's going to be easier to work with it in a digital format as you go on down the line. So of course you can use your computer or your tablet, type it in, perfect. Or you can do something that I love to do. I always love using the audio notes on my phone. Okay, so grab your phone, grab your audio notes, and start talking, child. And then you have it transcribed. And now you have it in a written format, and you can now begin to edit that document. Now, here's something that's very important about a brain dump. This is a creative activity. So it is very important that you don't try to edit or censor yourself or hold anything back. Don't feel like, oh, well, I started talking on this topic, but then I started talking on that topic and it's kind of free flowing. That's okay. It's a brain dump. Everything that's on your mind about this book, dump it out. All right? Because later on, if we need to separate some topics, that's okay. But get everything out without editing or censoring yourself. And if you've heard me talk about my 3-step writing process, if not, here's the video that I did on it. I will link that down in the description below. My 3-step writing process is to create, curate, and then complete. So the brain dump falls into the first section, which is to create. This is a creative process, all right? No judgments, no fear. You're not letting anybody look at this. So all ideas are good ideas. Get them all out. I might sound like I'm harping on this, and yes, I am, because we've gotten so used to thinking about, oh, what are people going to think about this when I, write this down? Should I write this down? No. One of the hardest skills to learn is to be able to separate the part of your brain that's critical from the part of your brain that's creative. You have to put it into 2 different modes. All right. You've got to be in creative mode. You've got to be in flow mode. You cannot be self-judgmental or self-critical, because then you're just going to not do anything and we will never get to experience your brilliance. And we don't want that. Okay. We want a more beautiful, a richer world because your ideas are in it in book writing format, like some of my other clients have done. Okay. Also, you're not trying to organize this now, okay? We're gonna organize in another step. This ain't it. This is the let's get it out phase, all right? Now, it is good if you do your brain dump specifically about one topic or one book idea. This is kind of why I like to tell people to have a working title for your book, because it helps keep you focused. However, because this is a brain dump, again, if you start dumping on one topic, but then you find that, oh, you know what, this might be stretching into another topic, that's okay. You can always separate that out later. Just keep the ideas flowing, and like an empty cup, drain it till it's absolutely dry and there are no more drops to give on your topic. So tell me, how does it feel to think about having to just dump your ideas out? No one else is going to be looking at it. You don't have to judge it. Nobody else is judging it. How does that feel? Does that feel like freeing to you? Does that feel like, okay, I think I could do this? So if this is feeling doable for you, go ahead and drop me the word doable down in the comments so that I know you are rocking with your girl and this video is helping you out. Also, while you're down there, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, honey, so that YouTube can share more of my book writing tips with you that are very doable. All right, your girl just recently got to 200 subscribers, and we looking for the next 100. Okay, we trying to get to 300 ASAP. All right, thank you very much. Okay, number 2, why should you create a brain dump to start writing your book? A brain dump is a very no pressure way of starting to write. Okay, that is what stops a lot of people, is being self-critical and trying to think about what people are going to think about it before we even get it out. All right, so you are taking the pressure off and you're just getting those ideas out. By creating a brain dump, you are just tapping into your initial thoughts without worrying about an audience, organizing your thoughts, or creating an outline. You're not worried about none of it. Okay, this is allowing you to be free. I have this quote that I absolutely love from British fantasy novelist Terry Pratchett. I think that's how you pronounce their last name. And the quote goes, "Your first draft is just you telling yourself the story." So this is what a brain dump is. You're just telling it to yourself. You're just telling yourself your ideas. Another thing that I love about a brain dump is that it puts you into a creative flow. all right? You know, when you're like working on something and it's like time does not even exist. You look up and it's 5 hours later and you're like, oh, I didn't eat. Oh, oops, I missed something. Uh-oh. You know, and it's like it just feels so inspired and it feels like you've just done your best work. Now, of course, sometimes you come back and look at it later and you're like, what was I thinking? But that's not the time for that. Okay. Right now is the time to be in joy. It's the time to be in flow. All right. All right. Another thing about brain dumps is that this is a technique that helps to fill blank pages. You know that feeling when you have a blank page in your journal or you have just opened up a brand new document on your computer and that cursor is just blinking at you, blinking, 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 like, what you gonna write? Well, guess what? You got a brain dump, so you can tell that cursor, all right? You and the cursor fighting out in these blank pages streets, okay? It's real, all right? So you are going to win this fight when you are in brain dump free flow mode. And like I said, it gives you this really great emotional rush. And I also have another writing quote that I absolutely love, and it's from American novelist Jodi Picoult. And they say, you might not write well every day, but you can always edit a bad page. You can't edit a blank page, okay? If there are no words on the page, what we doing? Okay? So we need to get those words on the page. And my last point here is that really a brain dump is really about outsmarting your brain and getting around the common mental roadblocks that people have about getting started writing. So next up here, I have some tips for you for creating an effective brain dump that can transform into your first draft. All right, so number one, you want to take your time. We are not in a rush, okay? As long as you have not announced that you're going to be publishing your book next week, or any day, take as much time as you need. Or you know, if you want to have like your own personal deadline that you want to finish by, okay, but don't hold yourself too tightly to it. Child, if you know how many times I have moved the deadline for publishing my book, child, this thing has been 5 years in the making. All right, okay, so don't worry about it. Okay, so take your time, take as much time as you need. Use as many writing sessions as you need to. So like I said in the last video, in our first video in this series, this toolkit series, setting an RTG of 15 minutes a day is the bare minimum that I think you should commit. And if you are sticking to that 15 minutes a day, well then this may take you a couple of 15-minute sessions. And don't worry about it. Just get it done. The next thing is that you want to be thorough. Exhaust all of your ideas, even if you feel like some of those ideas are tangential and they're just going off to the side. Let them go off to the side. In fact, go overboard, okay? Generate more ideas than you need. You can always curate and edit them and separate them out into other documents and other book ideas later. Another thing, have fun. Be excited about you're creating word clay. All right, so it's like, you know, when you have, if you're a sculptor or painter, if you ever played with Play-Doh, you've got clay to work with, and then you get to shape it and mold it into anything you want. So your brain dump is like word clay. You're just dumping it out there, and then you're going to shape and edit and curate later on. But you can't shape and edit and curate later on if you don't have any clay to work with, all right? So again, you can't edit a blank page. So let's get these words up on the page. So as working with clay and Play-Doh is fun, working with words is fun too, okay? Working with your ideas is fun. Let your joy and your pride for what you're doing transfer onto the page, whether it's a digital page or a physical page. Now, you can pre-organize your ideas by going through major subcategories for your book. Or, nah, you don't have to. You can freestyle it. You don't have to pre-plan your writing sessions for doing your brain dump if you don't want to. Whatever makes you happy and whatever gets the words up on the page, that's all we're looking for. Now, this is a major point. Keep your original brain dump document. Don't destroy it, okay? You can add to it if you want, but when you get ready to work on it, you're going to make a copy of the document. You're going to call it V2. You're just going to change the last little tag there, put a little V2 at the end for version 2, and then you start editing that copy, okay? You start deleting stuff out of that one. but you keep the original because you may need to come back to that original some point in time and say, oh, you know what, I had this idea. And once you've made 5,900 changes and edits to your document, you're like, oh shucks, when did I have that? It's going to be back in the brain dump document. Okay, so preserve it. Maintaining the old document will be valuable for refreshing your memory on your original vision, and you will be able to review discarded ideas and maybe take them and, like I said, start other book ideas from them. And then the next thing is definitely keep your documents cloud accessible. So whether you use Google Drive, I'm a Google girl, if you use the Microsoft products, if you use Apple products, if you use Dropbox, I can't stand Dropbox. But anyway, listen, I fought Dropbox and I won. Okay, I got my $450 back that they were erroneously trying to charge me. Child. Anyhow, but you will thank me later when you keep your documents cloud-based, because if something happens to your computer, if something happens to your tablet, if something happens to your phone, if something happens to the paper copy, you've got a backup and you can access it someplace else. If you did all of that work and it all went, I'm not even gonna finish that sentence. Child, let's just wrap up this video. So I hope that this video was very, very helpful in helping you get words up on the page. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Make sure you subscribe so that you can get the next video in this series. Now that's coming out next week, but for right now, you can jump into one of these two videos here so that you can dig even deeper into your book writing process. Click on one of them now and I will see you on the other side.